Observe the images above. What do you see? Do you know why the pond is polluted? At the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the consequences of uncontrolled industrial waste. Explain the importance of practicing responsible ways of disposing industrial waste. From previous lessons, we learned that science and technology enhances human life and improves our quality of life. Humans need more food and increase agricultural production. We need to use fertilizers to increase agricultural production. We need factories to make strong metal alloys for the construction industry. As the byproduct of these activities, a lot of waste will be generated. Industrial waste is the major source of pollution to the environment nowadays. What will happen if we let industrial waste disposal activities become uncontrolled? The main concern of pollution are its effect to the quality of the air we breathe, the quality of water we drink, and the quality of food we eat. These three components will have an impact on our lives. The pollution will have adverse effects on our health and economy, habitat and environment. Click on the pictures to learn more about it. Air pollution is the major contributor towards our health problems. Fine particulates are released directly into the air from factories. They may lead to some respiratory health problems. Children, the elderly, asthmatic patients, and others are vulnerable to this type of air pollution. Acid rain and improper disposal of industrial waste will affect the quality of water. The pollution of sea, rivers, and lake pose a threat to the fishery industry. Toxic waste that enters the water system will have an impact on the marine lives. There are cases of contaminated fish ponds that result in thousands of fish red being killed. Water pollution would also affect our source of drinking water. Acid rain and toxic waste have also been known to destroy certain species of the flora and fauna in the habitat. The terrestrial system will also be affected by acid rain. There are certain vegetations that are not suitable in acidic conditions. As a result, the growth of plants for food will be affected. Illegal dumping of effluents into the water system causes water pollution. Animals that use the contaminated water may die. The extinction of certain species of the flora and fauna needs to be taken seriously. Let us take a closer look at how a toxic chemical, mercury, can enter the body. One of the biggest problems of mercury in the environment is that when mercury reaches an aquatic environment, mercury can be transformed into methyl mercury. Methyl mercury is extremely toxic. It dissolves easily in water and bioaccumulates in the food chain. Methyl mercury is first taken up by bacteria and tiny plants and animals known as plankton. Then the plankton and bacteria are eaten by small fish. These small fish are eaten by larger predatory fish which accumulate large amounts of methyl mercury in their tissues. Mercury is found in all tissues and body parts of a contaminated fish. A large fish are caught and eaten by humans and animals. Large amounts of methyl mercury accumulate in their bodies as well. One of the main sources of mercury poisoning is eating methylmercury contaminated fish. Symptoms of acute poisoning include severe abdominal pains, vomiting, and diarrhea. Observe the pond habitat with some small industries nearby. Divide the class into 5 groups. Each group chooses one of the situations highlighted. Discuss in your group the consequences of uncontrolled disposal of industrial waste. Click on the numbers shown on the picture to get some guidelines to start your discussion. Fine particulates are released directly into the air from factories. They may lead to some respiratory health problems. Children, the elderly, smokers, asthmatics, and others are vulnerable to this type of air pollution. Water pollution caused by illegal dumping of effluents into the water system. Animals that use the contaminated water may die. The extinction of certain species of the flora and fauna needs to be taken seriously. Heavy metal is a source of environmental contamination. It can find its way into water sources and accumulates in fish and fish-eating animals. We can get acute heavy metal poisoning when we consume contaminated fish. Acid rain and toxic waste have also been known to destroy certain species of the flora in the habitat. The vegetation nearby is affected by acid rain. There are certain vegetations that are not suitable in acidic condition. As a result, the growth of plants for food will be affected. Fish and other living organisms will be affected by untreated chemical waste. Thousands of fish may die if the water condition is not suitable, and this will affect the fish industry. Click on the correct answer. Industrial waste that causes harm to our respiratory system comes from A. Effluents from livestock waste, B. Emission of sulfur dioxide gas, C. Disposal of toxic chemical waste, D. Disposal of metal smelting waste.
Your answer is correct.
Preservation of the environment is A. Using chemical to make environment clean, B. Decreasing the use of organic fertilizer, C. Increase the environment temperature, D. Maintaining a balanced environment.
Your answer is correct.
Which statements describe how heavy metal from industrial waste has an adverse effect on the environment? 1. Heavy metal can destroy certain species of the flora and fauna. 2. Heavy metal will contaminate the water, and this will retard the growth of aquatic plants and animals. 3. Pollutants can dissolve in water and bioaccumulate in the food chain. 4. Fine particulates of heavy metal are released directly into the air from sources such as industries.
Your answer is correct.
Which statement relates to the effects of uncontrolled disposal of industrial waste on the respiratory system? A. Acid rain affects growth of the vegetation. B. Bioaccumulation of oxide in the atmosphere. C. Toxicity of the effluents is emitted by factories. D. Concentration of particulates in the atmosphere.
Your answer is correct.
Man can be affected by mercury poisoning through A. Food chain, B. Soil erosion, C. Air pollution, D. Bacteria growth.
Your answer is correct.
Illustration shows harmonious scenery of the environment. If we were to build a textile manufacturing industry in this area, 1. Describe the consequences of the disposal of its industrial waste. The main concern of the consequences is its effect to the quality of air we breathe, the quality of water we drink, and the quality of food we eat. The environmental pollution will have adverse effects on our health, economy, and habitat. 2. How would you practice proper methods of disposing industrial waste from this factory? The importance of practicing responsible ways of disposing industrial waste will help us preserve and conserve the environment. Proper disposal of industrial waste, like using filters in furnaces and treating toxic waste before flowing it into ponds, are responsible ways to save our environment. In this lesson, we learned consequences of uncontrolled industrial waste, the importance of practicing responsible ways of disposing industrial waste. Uncontrolled of industrial waste have an adverse effect on our health, economy, habitat, and environment. The respiratory system is affected due to air pollution, and heavy metal poisoning is due to the illegal dumping of chemical waste. Fish industry may be affected due to illegal chemical dumping. Chemical waste may affect the vegetation of habitat. The extinction of the flora and fauna may happen if uncontrolled disposal of industrial waste is not stopped. Importance of practicing responsible ways of disposing industrial waste will help us preserve and conserve the environment. Proper disposal of industrial waste, like using filters in furnaces and treating toxic waste before flowing it into ponds, are responsible ways to save our environment. On December 3, 1984, in Bhopal, India, a tank which stored methyl isocyanate MIC overheated. This caused toxic MIC gas to be released into the environment. The gases injured about 50,000 to 600,000 people, and at least 15,000 of who later died. Blood samples of some victims showed cherry red color characteristic in acute cyanide poisoning. Studies of the after effects showed that many of the survivors were still suffering from blindness, gastrointestinal disorders, impaired immune system, and menstrual problems in women. This incident is claimed to be the worst industrial disaster in the history of humans.